I hope you're well. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're gonna be doing a kind of wrap up and TBR video. I haven't posted in a month or two, so it's gonna be a combined May and June wrap up, and then I'll just go through my plans for July. I am gonna be working to get more consistent with posting again. I've just been really busy with work and kind of life just gets in the way sometimes, and that's okay. And I've also been thinking a lot about how I want to be doing book reviews on YouTube, and I think I'm just gonna go with how I planned to, and then just kind of got a bit imposter syndrome, and I'm just going to be doing them quite similarly to how I do them on my blog. I've had my blog for 4 or 5 years on and off, and I love it. So yeah, so I'll just start posting those, recording the video of me talking about the review, well, talking through the review, I guess, and then yeah, just see how it goes. I know they really help me because I do tend to focus on like the writing side of them. We'll kind of get into it a bit more further in the video. And also very excitingly, I have had my hair done. So it had a big cut and a balayage, like a honey balayage, I think. I really like it. I'm still kind of getting used to styling it, and I'm waiting on some products that are coming tomorrow just to be able to do my hair a little bit better, because I do have a natural wave. So I just want to incorporate that into it. We'll start getting into the actual content of the video. So firstly, because I've missed a month, very sorry, I'm gonna kind of talk about the books that I read in May. So the first book I read was Paladin's Grace by Kingfisher, and I absolutely love this book. It's in the Saint of Steel series, and it's just such a funny book. Like, the language in it is really funny, but it's cozy and deals with topics that you don't necessarily see in fantasy books. And yeah, I just loved it. It was a great read. I was planning on doing a review of it specifically, but I didn't, and now I feel like it's been like too much time has passed. But there's still 3 more books left in the series, so I will start posting my actual reviews in their own videos. And yeah, I just loved it. It's such a clever book, and such an interesting premise. So if you don't know about it, effectively it's about a paladin who basically his god dies, and paladins kind of get their powers from their god. And he was a berserker paladin, so he like when his god died, he still kind of can get into berserker rage, but he doesn't have kind of a guiding presence making sure that he's only attacking like the people he needs to attack and not accidentally injuring innocent people or like causing chaos or stuff like that. And then there's also Grace, and she's great, and she's a perfumist, and she's just trying to build up her business, and effectively they kind of meet each other, and Stephen helps her, and it's very cute, it's very funny. And yeah, I just love the book the whole way through. I definitely recommend it if you like fantasy. Sometimes it feels like cozy fantasy, but there are pretty high stakes, so I'm not sure if it quite falls into that. Yeah, but it's fantastic writing, it's a lot of fun. And like, yeah, the word use that Kingfisher uses is so clever, and yeah, it was just a fantastic read. The other book that I read in May was Blood Over Bright Haven by Emma Wang. I do have the physical copy with me, so I will show you that because it's such a pretty cover. I actually bought this on World Book Day. It was a very good purchase. I'm very happy that I've read it. It's such a well-written book, and it does what it sets out to do really, really well. And it's one of those books where it really makes you think. It is like its own fantasy world, but it does reflect a lot of our current world. And Emma Wang doesn't shy away from kind of showing the bad sides of it. And I'd say as well, like, the characters are so well written and they're so true to themselves, and like Emma Wang doesn't change the characters in a way to make the plot easier, which can happen. And yeah, so she doesn't, and the characters feel so real. But I have written a review for this one, so I will be posting it. I think I've got it scheduled for next month because I still have to record it. I have other book reviews to record and upload before then. But this was such a fantastic read. If you like fantasy and you haven't read it, I definitely recommend it. So now I'm just gonna go over the books that I read in June. So I also read 2 books in June, and that was Everything But Is Tuberculosis by John Green. So I have been reading this book for a few months, and I finally had to acknowledge to myself that with non-fiction books, I don't necessarily devour them. I'm more of like, I'll just kind of jump into them every once in a while, and enjoy them while I'm reading them, put them down, and get distracted by books with more like kind of more fiction books. I thought this book was great. I've been consuming John Green's media for a while, so like Vlogbrothers on YouTube, and I haven't read all the books he's ever written, but like Fault in Our Stars, Looking for Alaska, Paper Towns I've read, and really enjoyed those. It's just been really interesting because he's been talking about tuberculosis for a while on YouTube, and to finally see that kind of finished work and get to learn more about it was really good. And he does it in a very conversational way, a very respectful and kind of human focused way, which is really cool because obviously tuberculosis is a disease, it doesn't care about us, but he looks kind of more at the impact on people and how decisions that people make or don't make can impact tuberculosis, and then how it then impacts people. And yeah, it was just a really interesting read. And gave me a lot to think about. I'm going to be posting my review separately. And then the second book that I read in June was The Shattered King by Charlie Ann Holmberg. So this was actually an ARC read from NetGalley, and the book doesn't come out until September, I think. But I really like Charlie Ann Holmberg's writing. So she wrote the Paper Magician series, and I read that shortly after it came out, I think, and absolutely loved it. She's a very prolific writer. I haven't read everything she's ever put out, but I do enjoy her books. So I saw that this was up on NetGalley, was really excited, read it. I will be posting my full review later on this month, but overall I liked it. I'd say the first maybe 3/4 I really enjoyed, and then the last quarter it fell apart a little bit for me. It's not a terrible read, it's not the best read. I'm a little bit disappointed just because I did enjoy the first bit a fair amount. But I'll get into my review in a future video. So if you do like kind of Charlie Ann Holmberg and you're interested of my thoughts on The Shattered King specifically, definitely keep an eye out for that. Books that I'm currently reading. So for me, I'm not really somebody who will necessarily be like, I'm gonna finish these 2 books or 5 books. Very rare that I read 5 books in a month, but I'm not really somebody who necessarily will finish them in that specific month. They tend to have rollovers, especially with non-fiction. Like I said, they do just kind of last for me for a while. Like I don't read them particularly quickly, even if they're really good. One of the books that I've been reading kind of on and off for a few months is A Guide to How to Write by William Ryan. I have DNF'd this for now just because I don't feel drawn to reading it, and when I'm reading it I've been a little bit bored. Like sometimes it's like really interesting, I'm like, oh that's cool, and sometimes I'm just bored. Right now it's just not a book that I have been able to get into, so I'm being kind to myself and just putting it aside. I do want to kind of get to it eventually because I think it'll have a lot of really helpful information as an aspiring author, but for now I'm putting it down. I like having writing books on the go, so I picked up Creating Character Arcs by K.M. Weiland and also Structuring Your Novel by the same author. So I'm trying to get back into my writing routine and I just feel a bit lost, so I'm starting a new story instead of going back to edit one I've been working on for a few years, just because I need something new, I think, and then I can go back to the other one kind of with clearer eyes. I'm just kind of jumping into these to feel like I know what I'm doing a bit more when I'm kind of drafting the new book. I'm also reading The God in the Gwisin by Sophie Kim. I do have the physical copy because I bought it because I love The God in the Gummio, but I did also receive a NetGalley ARC because I requested it. I'm very excitedly got it. The book has come out now, as you can see. But I am working on finishing the book. I'm about 70% of the way through. I've kind of been jumping between the galley and the published copy, and I haven't seen any differences, to be honest. But I'm really enjoying it, and I don't really want to talk too much about the kind of plot of the book because it would very much spoil the first book. But if you like kind of Korean mythology in an urban setting and magic and K-drama detective love stories, then I think you'd really like the series. It's so good. This is the second book in that series. I'm gonna be posting a review after I finished it, which will have spoilers, but I will put all of the warnings that are needed. But so far really good, getting close to the end. Really excited to see what Sophie Kim puts out next. The last book I'm currently reading is Monsters by Claire Dederer. I'm not sure if I pronounced her name correctly, very sorry if I haven't. And this is a book that I've had on my shelf for a while, maybe a year, and it's about looking at what we do when the artist has done something really, really bad, but their art's really good, and kind of trying to, I don't know what we're trying to do, but we're trying to understand it. And I guess it's kind of looking at the art and it's like, is this something that we can still enjoy as art, or is what the person's done so egregious that we can't kind of look at their art, and where's the line? In the book she says that some people, if the person's died, then they'll consume the art because then they're not getting money, and some people are like, no, absolutely not. And it's really difficult because there are a lot of artists who I really enjoy, but then they've done something terrible, and like from a moral point of view, I've just kind of been avoiding their art. But yeah, I'm just not really sure where I stand, which isn't something that I'm proud of, because like even like recent events, so like Neil Gaiman and like J.K. Rowling, how they've just done so many hurtful things to people who are like marginalized to begin with. It's just like, what do we do with their art? Is that something that I can enjoy? Will it just hover over me if I ever do try to read them again? I'm not sure if it's a book that's gonna have answers necessarily, but I think it will kind of help me think through how I feel about it. And I'm not sure how I feel about it. And yeah, I do like reading books about kind of social commentary and about how to approach difficult subjects. I'm not a very confrontational person, and so even sometimes confronting stuff with myself can be difficult, if that makes any sense. So yeah, so far I really like the way that she writes. It's not all like literary kind of monsters, it's also like art, painting, and like movies. She starts with Roman Polanski, and I'm hoping it just helps me think better and more critically and more honestly with myself, and hopefully that can also reflect in my book reviews and in my writing. But I will leave a review once I've finished. I'm expecting this to take me at least a couple months, again because it's non-fiction, but I have been enjoying reading it, so it might go quicker, but we'll see. Okay, so now we're on to my July TBR, and it feels like a good TBR. So the writing books I'm going to be reading still, and Monsters I'm going to be reading still. But I also want to finish The God in the Gwisin by Sophie Kim and get my review up. The next book that I want to read, this isn't necessarily in the order that I'm going to read them, it's just the next book on my list, is Orbital by Samantha Harvey. I think she won the Booker Prize. Yeah, Booker Prize 2024. And it sounds really good. I'm not sure if that much happens in it. Let's see. It's very small. There's about 130, 140 pages in it. Very little. And I think it's just them observing Earth from space, so like orbiting Earth. And yeah, it's had a lot of good reviews, so I'm very interested in reading it. Next book I need to read, this one I need to read this month, is Dune by Herbert. just the first book. I have a small book club with some friends and family, and we picked Dune a couple months ago. Ended up not having the book club kind of go ahead on the date planned, which I was like, great, I haven't read it, so I have time to read it, and I still haven't read it. So we're gonna be rescheduling that, and then I need to finish it by then. I do have the audiobook for this one, so I'm hoping that that will kind of help me get through it. Dune's a classic book in the science fiction and fantasy kind of genre, and it has been on my list for a while, but at the same time I feel a bit intimidated by it, but I'm also not sure if I'll like it. But yeah, but I'll see how it goes. Hopefully I like it. And I probably won't do a super in-depth review of Dune, only because I find for me, when I read an audiobook, I don't read it as closely. Like, I'm more just trying to get it for the story. I know that's not the case for everybody, and I do count audiobooks as reading. But yeah, but it's just a lot harder for me to do a deep dive. This will be a quick review in one of these wrap-up videos. Yeah, so I think once I start, I'll be fine. It's just getting started. The last book on my TBR is Someone You Can Build a Nest In by John Wiswell. I heard about this book on Daniel Green's channel, and it's a horror book, which I do not usually read because I'm very easily scared. But the premise sounded really good. It has also just won a Nebula Award for Best Novel this year, which is huge praise. And yeah, I just really wanted to read it. So it's about... So I haven't read it, obviously, so I don't really know what it's about. But on the back it says that the main character is a shapeshifter, and she's quite happy just living as kind of a lump in the swamp. Yeah, those are the words. And then some monster hunters just appear, and she transforms into a human, like a shapeshifts into a human, just kind of see what's going on. And she ends up falling in love with one of the humans, I think, and just about as she's about to say, hey, I'm actually this shape-shifting monster, her love interest is like, actually, I've been hunting this shape-shifting monster that has cursed my family. And the shape-shifting monster is like, I didn't know such thing. So she's trying to figure out what happened. And it just sounds so bizarre. And the back of the book says it a lot better than I did. And it sounds like there's gonna be a lot of humor and stuff throughout the book, even though it's horror. It just sounds like something I've never read before, and as soon as I heard about it, I've just really wanted to sink my teeth into it. And yeah, I'm finally going to be able to, so I'm hoping that this is like a priority read after my NetGalley read. Other more general plans that I have this month in regard to reading and writing. As I said at the beginning of the video, I do want to start posting more book reviews, because that's what I usually do on my blog, and I love it. It's just been trying to decide how to do those reviews in video format instead of on written format. And I think I'm basically going to do it the same and then see how it goes, because I've been doing my blog for, well, I started with Katie's Convos and then moved to Bookish Repose, but I pretty much kept the same formatting for the blog because I just got it to a place where I really like it. And it makes sense in my mind how I want to do the blogs. And I do focus a lot on, so like the review and then who I think it should be for, sometimes a side note, and then writer craft notes, which is when I tend to pick one or two things that I've really either liked or disliked about the book and just try to take a step back and dissect it and just kind of look at what I can learn from that work or from what the author's done and either incorporate it or be aware of it for my own writing. I do feel like I'd have to be reading off of a bit of a script just to make sure I get everything in there, and that was a bit intimidating because I know a lot of people are like, don't use a script. So today I'm happily using my iPad for my notes to kind of get my confidence up a bit about having that, and I might be able to get better. Well, I hope I get better at doing the reviews, at presenting, at editing to make it feel a bit more normal, but I'm not going to get to that point if I'm not recording and editing and posting those review videos. So I just need to start doing it. I'm giving myself a pep talk, ready to go. Another thing that I want to start doing is posting on Substacks. I have started to read posts on Substack. It's kind of like there's a feed, so like you'd have on Threads or Blue Sky, and there's also like posts, so you could do like a blog post. So it's kind of like a blog newsletter site, which I really like. So for my writing, I am trying to get a better writing routine. I want to start getting my idea drafted, and I want to read books because it's gonna feature like disability and chronic pain and stuff like that in a fantasy world. So I want to read books where that exists. So I've read Six of Crows, which had disability representation. I do want to read Godkiller by Hannah Kenner. And yeah, there's I have a list, so I'm gonna start going through those. And we start them within the next month or two. Like, yeah, probably from next month I'll try to start making sure I'm incorporating those books into my reading, just to not to copy them. I want to see how they've kind of done it, how they've kind of gone about addressing themes and just representing the characters with disability. And I think it'll be a really good starting point to kind of getting that book drafted. And I am gonna be like practicing writing and stuff, but I'm primarily doing it through book reviews and scripts at the moment, and just kind of letting my more like fictional ideas and creativity kind of steep in the background. I'm not sure if that's the best thing, but I'm taking steps to kind of create that routine so that when I do go into writing my fiction worlds, then I feel more prepared. I've got the routine already, so I'm hoping it'll just be a smoother transition. And as part of that routine, I do think I need to make myself be accountable. So talking about it, putting it out into the world on this channel to you, and also I've started a small writing group with some friends, and we've met a couple times just online, and mostly we've just been catching up. We have started doing like short reads of each other's work and kind of giving feedback. None of us are like professional authors, but we are all avid readers. And then the last thing I'm doing for my writing this month is I'm going to kind of a writing retreat, which is just going to be a day of being sat down, writing, and drinking tea. And one of my friends from that writing group is actually going with me, so I'm very excited to just be able to hang out with her, have some focused and dedicated time to read. I haven't 100% decided what I'm going to be working on. It might be outlining that book, just kind of getting a start, or it might be just kind of doing book reviews, but I think I want to use that time more for the fiction. In the next wrap up, I'll let you know how that's gone. So that's my wrap up. This video might be quite long, so I apologize for that, and thank you so much for sticking with me if you've made it to the end of this video. Is there anything that you're reading this month that you're really excited about? Please let me know below. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video, and the videos will be more regular going forward because I've written it down. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a lovely day.